So 20 is enough. Mm. Is enough. Now that is how we use this keyword to invoke current class method. But also it is not mandatory to nest methods. It is not mandatory to nest methods if they are not nested. You can call private. You can call price, you can call row, and you can call price. System dot out dot print price a dot price, and the problem is over. The price of price, there is no need to nest to call the price inside the row. It is not mandatory to do it like that. So you can do it like this, and the output will be the same. So the output, you can see the output has come. The output has come. Now let us continue and let us go so quickly. It is also used to call current class. Number 3, this can also be used to call current class constructor. This can also be used to call current class constructor. It can be used to call current class constructor. Here you can see constructor. So even if we didn't, we shall study constructor in the next presentation. No, did we study constructor in the previous? Okay. Now a constructor, as you remember it is a method which is having the same name as the name of a class, and it is used to construct an object. So it is having first of all the same name as the name of a class. Secondly, it does not have any return type. It does not have any explicit return type. It can have parameters or not. First key, the key is that it is having the same name as the name of a class. Then it does not have any return type. It is used to construct an object to set instance variables, and instance variables, as you know, they are properties of an object, and as you said, properties, you are constructing something. So it is used to put some values in instance variables. So, and as you know, an object or an instance is characterized by its properties. Properties are instance variables. So a constructor is used to construct an object to put some values in an instance variable, So it is having the same name as the name of a class. It does not have any return type. It can be parameterized or not. So that is a constructor. So it is used now to invoke current class constructor. So here we have an example. As we did for objects, we can have a okay. Let us do this. We can do this. Now, these two, then no return type. If there is no return type, and a method is having the same name as the name of a class, it becomes a constructor. So the price of rice is these two. Then we can call this system dot out dot print p system dot out dot print line p. Now, if we create an object, we should also put the price, because as we do this like this, it is as if we are calling this constructor, and this one is calling the upper one, because this one we call this constructor. It is a calling of this constructor, and if we call this constructor, this message will be displayed, and this statement will display the value which is in P, and the value which is in P is this one, it is 20. So if we run it, so let us change the message so that the output can also be changed. The price of rice is shown here, so that you can see that the output has been changed. The price of rice is shown here, it is 1,000. So we can now call constructor by using this, as you are seeing in the output. So we are calling the parameteristic constructor. So a constructor is always called as soon as we create object. A constructor is called when we create an object. So if we create an object without any value, it means we are calling the default constructor, which does not have any parameter. There is nothing. It means we are calling this, and only this message will be displayed without the price. We have two constructors, but here we are calling only one constructor. You see the price of rice is shown here. There is no price because we are only calling the constructor without parameter. But if we put parameter, if we put parameter 1000, it means we are calling the constructor which is having a parameter, and the constructor which is having a parameter, it is also calling the constructor without parameter. By using this keyword, we are calling the constructor which is not, so we are calling this message in other words. So if we run, we shall get the complete output. So now let us go to other concepts. Inheritance. So because we are having a short time, it is not necessary to run all programs. You can run them by yourselves. So the main key is that you understand. If you understand, it is enough. You can run programs by yourselves. Now let us go to inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance is a concept of creating a class from another class. And why do we need inheritance? We need inheritance for coding usability, for usability of codes. So inheritance, it is a mechanism in which one object acquires all properties and behavior of parent class. So we create a class from another one, and the object of derived class can inherit properties and method of parent class. It means we are using properties and method of parent class instead of creating other ones. So, for example, here, so we have terms to be used. So for method overriding and for coding usability. So method overriding, we shall see it. But method overriding, it is a way of defining the same method in parent class and in derived class. Now, if we call that method, now the version of derived class is the one which is having priority. It means the one of derived class is overriding the one of superclass. So that is what we call overriding. The same method is defined in this class and in the derived class. Now, if we call that method the version of derived class, it will be invoked. So, because they are the same. Now, a class is a group of objects which have common properties. So, it is a template of blueprint from which objects are created. So, subclass or child class, a subclass is a class which inherits another class. Superclass, it is a class from which another class are created. Or superclass is a class from where a subclass inherits features. So we create another class by using extends keyword. So here we have an example. We have inheritance example. We have a class employee. So, and an employee is having a salary. Now, we have also among employees, we have programmers. Programmers should have a bonus of programmers. So, you understand that a programmer is at the same time an employee, and he is also a programmer. If he is a programmer, he should inherit, he should have all he should inherit. Hmm? First of all, he is an employee. It means he has a right of all employees' property. Okay. Now, as he is also a programmer, he has something particular for programmers. He has a bonus of programmers, and also he should access a salary of employees. Hmm? That is, instead of, so you can see, because we know that an employee, a programmer is also an employee, but he has also additional properties or additional allowance of programmers. So there is no need to create a complete other class for programmers, but we create an extended class which inherits so that we can reuse properties of employees. Hmm? So, for example, here we have a program, employee and a programmer. Hmm? Inheritance. Let us create class programmer. We are having class programmer, and above we are having class employee. Class employee. Employees have salary, and they have salary maybe. Now a programmer has a bonus. A programmer has a bonus. So now programmer P1 equals a new programmer. Now P1 dot system dot out dot print programmer's salary is salary. P1 dot salary. So this should extend employee. So we was not accessing the salary variable because this class was not a derived class of employee. So system dot out dot print programmers bonus is bonus. So if we run, so you will see that the programmer is accessing salary and is also accessing the his bonus. Programmer's salary is 5,000 and programmer's bonus is. So there is no need to also create salary for programmer, as a programmer can access the salary of employees. It is enough. So we can create an extended class which can define only additional properties of employees of programmer. So it is understandable, I think. We can move quickly. Types of inheritance, we have single inheritance, we have a single class, a single class which inherits from a single class. We have multi-level inheritance, where there is inheritance chaining. We have a chain of inheritance. We have a chain of inheritance. We have a class which inherits another which is also a subclass of another. We have a subclass which inherits from another subclass. That is what we call multi-level inheritance, a subclass which inherits from another, a subclass which is also extended. A subclass is also extended. Okay, or we can say a subclass which inherits from, which is derived from another subclass. A subclass created from another subclass. So it is a multi-level inheritance. We have also hierarchical inheritance. More than one subclass says are inheriting one superclass. So when one class inherits from multiple classes, it is known as multiple inheritance. This is a multiple inheritance. So there can be three types of inheritance. Multiple and hybrid inheritance is supported through interfaces only. Now, single inheritance, when a class inherits another class, it is single inheritance. Here we have an example. We have a class animal and a class dog, which extends animal. Now, so if we create an object of type dog, so that object can also access resources of parent class, of class animal. So now a dog is an animal, is allowed to eat, it is allowed also to bark. So now multi-level, there is a chain of inheritance. A class is inheriting another subclass. If a class is a subclass, a class is inheriting a subclass, it is a multi-level inheritance. So we have a baby dog which is inheriting dog. A dog in turn is inheriting animal class. In that case, we have multi-level inheritance. So we have a hierarchical. Two or more classes inherit a single class. Two or more classes are inheriting the same superclass. In that case, we have multiple inheritance. So why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java? To reduce the complexity and simplify the language, multiple inheritance is not supported in Java. Consider a scenario where A, B, and C are three classes. The C class inherits A and B classes. If A and B classes have the same method and you call it from a third class object, there will be ambiguity. Yes, there is to avoid the ambiguity. There is no need to use multiple inheritance. But multiple inheritance, you see, we have class A, class B, and you have class C, which is extending A and B. Suppose if it was possible. So this is having message. A is having message method and B is having message method. So if we call message, which one are we calling? That is why there is ambiguity and there is no need of it. So we shall implement this multiple inheritance in interfaces. Aggregation in Java. If a class have an entity reference, it is known as aggregation. Has a relationship, we call it has a relationship. Consider a situation where employee object contain many information such as ID, name, email, ID, etc. It contains one more object named the address, which contains its own information such as city, state, and country, zip code as given below. So we have ID, name, and address. And the address in turn is having other information. That is what we call aggregation. In such case, an employee has an entity reference address. Address is an entity reference. So this is what we call aggregation. It means other information are aggregated in this address. So why use aggregation? For code reusability, we can use some codes which are somewhere else, and then we can use aggregation for using some of those information. Code reuse is also best achieved by aggregation when there is no is a example. Here we have ID, name, and address. So public imp, here we have a constructor, ID, name, then address. Now this ID, this name, this address equals address. Now here we have system.out.print name, system.out.print address.city, address.state, address. Now public static void main address equals new address. So you can see these are aggregated inside address. So now imp.display. So you can see how aggregation is being used. Now overriding in Java, overriding, as I told you, it is a situation whereby the same method is defined in superclass and in subclass, and when we call that method or a variable, we can also have method overriding. If subclass has the same method as declared in parent class, it is known as method overriding. That is method overriding. But also we can have variable overriding. So let me give you programming examples quickly so that we can move so fast. Now method A equal so plus A. Now plus A, we have plus X plus X. So let's start from a variable int m equals 20. So a class A extends X. Extends X. Now it is also having int m equals 20 equals 30. Now, if let me create an object of type A. Now A1 equals new A. This is A1 is an object of type A. Now, system dot out dot print line A1 dot M. And as you can see, we have M of derived class and we have M of superclass. Which M will be displayed? The one of derived class. The value of M is the one of superclass. The one of subclass will be displayed. Can you see the one of subclass is displayed? It is the same it is the same for method. If it is a method, return 20.